Hello, adorable, amazing, super smart students. I am going to just go over a really quick lesson to help us with the studies we're already doing in class on context clues. And so I have a book of poetry called Deep in the Desert, and it's a lovely, wonderful book. It is full of great illustrations, and it's written by Rhonda Lucas Donald and illustrated by Sherry Neidigh. I don't know if that's the exact right pronunciation of the illustrator's name. But anyway, the poem that I have chosen is called You're a Fennec Fox. And this is actually a poem that can be turned into a song and sang to the tune of a song called Do Your Ears Hang Low. But I'm not going to sing it. I'm just going to use it as a regular poem. And what we see here are actually kind of three stanzas. And stanzas are groups of sentences in a poem that are arranged together. So here's one long stanza. Here's one very short one. And as you see, the extra spaces beneath, it indicates that it's not part of this third stanza here. And the word that we're really going to focus on for context clues is Fennec. So the poem is titled, You're a Fennec Fox. We could get a dictionary and we could look this word up. We could ask someone to tell us how this word is defined, but a better way is to learn to use context clues. So what I have here is first stanza does not mention the term Fennec, nor does the second, but the third one does. So we're going to be looking at all three of these stanzas. We will treat them almost like paragraphs in a passage. And we're going to see if there's clues to help us know what a Fennec fox really is. Let's get started. All right, stanza one. Do you have big ears? Do they help with what you hear? Can they turn from side to side? Can you hear both far and wide? Do they keep you nice and cool, like a clear, refreshing pool? Do you have big ears? So we see something that we see in poems, sometimes repetition. That first line in this stanza says, do you have big ears? And so does the last one. And so we're not sure we have any clues, but possibly because of repetition and some other references, we might want to ask ourselves if Fennec has anything to do with the big ears. And if we always look at pictures, there's a good chance they can be an additional clue. And I am looking, and not every fox has ears this tall and pointed, kind of longer than the ears of some other species of foxes. And keep in mind that these are foxes that show up in the desert, because once again, the book is titled Deep in the Desert. And so let's go back to that poem. And we have second stanza. If you do, then ... That's called an ellipsis. And it basically means something is missing or not mentioned, or it's not finished here. But it's probably going to be finished here in this third stanza. And it says, you're a Fennec fox. Dig a den among the rocks. Sleep inside throughout the day. Keep the boiling heat at bay. When the moon and stars come out, then it's hunting time, no doubt. You're a Fennec fox. And in the third stanza, we see this poetic element that is common, which is repetition. The first line of stanza 3 says the same thing as the last line in stanza 3. So I'm going to read it again all together. I just wanted you to see the separation of stanzas, but it's not all that critical for understanding context clues, but I thought that it would be good to give you that little extra bit about poetry. You're a Fennec fox. Do you have big ears? Do they help with what you hear? Can they turn from side to side? Can you hear both far and wide? Do they keep you nice and cool like a clear, refreshing pool? Do you have big ears? If you do, then you're a Fennec Fox. Dig a den among the rocks. Sleep inside throughout the day. Keep the boiling heat at bay. When the moon and stars come out, then it's hunting time, no doubt. You're a Fennec Fox. So this first stanza here, I keep hearing references to the size of the ears or to some aspect of the ears about them. Their size here, they're big in line 1. They're big again in the last line here. And it mentions, do they help you with what you hear? And that's what happens, that everybody, every species, if they have ears, that's what they use to hear. And then can they turn from side to side? They probably can twitch a little bit, thinking, or move from side to side. Can you hear both far and wide? Look at them. They're kind of almost like a shell shape. And if you've ever held a shell to your ear, you'll probably notice, hey, that shape helps the sound to travel. You feel like you hear the ocean inside of shells, and possibly because of the size of the ears and even the openings of the ears looks kind of big. Maybe they can hear both far away and in a wide space. They can still hear. And that might help them to get away from animals that might want to eat them, and as well as to help them to hear whatever animals in the food chain that they may eat. So, and do they keep you nice and cool? I don't know if they're not as big as elephant ears, but maybe they help to keep them a little cooler. I don't know. And then it says like a clear, refreshing pool. That's a simile there. Do they keep you nice and cool? Like a cool, refreshing pool. And then once again, do you have big ears? And I would say yes, they do. And then this second stanza, it really doesn't seem to have any clues, but it says, if all of these things are true, it doesn't exactly point to this, but it's by saying, if you do, then they're referring to these things. If these things are true, if you do have big ears, if you have ears that help you hear, if you have ears that turn from side to side, if you have ears where you can hear both far and wide, if you have ears that are big enough to keep you nice and cool, then you're a Fennec Fox. So I believe all of these things are nice for the poem and describe the fox, but the main thing I believe is that we can say from these clues here, referring to the ears, that a Fennec fox is a special species of fox that is found in the desert or some deserts, and that have big, wide, kind of long ears. So that's how we use context clues to figure out the meaning of an unfamiliar word. See you next time. We are going to use this great book again. Bye-bye.